So what? You've done your measures, you've identified if your readings are too high or too low or just right. If they're just right, celebrate. If they fall in the green on any or all of these six, take a moment just to go, I'm on track, things are good, things are great, celebrate the success. If, however, things are slightly too high or slightly too low, there's always things you can do, particularly for heart rate and blood pressure. If it's too high, think of calming, think of stilling, think of slowing, think of settling. If it's too low, think of feeding, think of nurturing, think of supporting, think of nourishing. On glucose and uric acid, if glucose is too high near the diabetes level, consider really coming down on carbohydrate. Carbohydrate being sugar and starches. And if it's too low though, and you're feeling a bit faint or like you're having a migraine, hopefully not to the extent of being in a coma, you want to start consuming a little bit more carbohydrate. Maybe some whole grains, some pumpernickel bread, maybe sourdough, something like that to boost you back into optimum glucose range. If it's uric acid, you definitely want to drink more water if you're too high. On the gouty arthritis side, inflammation. You want to get this uric acid out of you by drinking more water. And if you want to put the cherry on the top, it is cherry juice that will help to get that uric acid out of you as well if you put that in your water. As far as increasing uric acid, I've never known anyone who's needed to go and increase it, but you just want to get it out. That's more the matter. When it comes to stored fuel and power, if you have too high percentage body fat, you've got the opportunity to use that stored fuel up. And the way you can do it is you can fast. At the same time, you might want to go more on healthy fats and proteins and less on carbohydrates. So you are using up that stored fuel. Fasting would be the quickest way. Just make sure you do it safely. And if it's too low, if you've got low percentage body fat, as we see in things like anorexia, bulimia, you'll need to look to put on more body fat. Best way to do that is to have some good, healthy Mediterranean fats, for example, or good, healthy, regeneratively farmed meats, which has good animal fats in it to help build up this percentage body fat. Either way, you're bringing it down or bringing it up to being into the optimal. Similarly, on skeletal muscle, it's more a matter that people have a very low level percentage of skeletal muscle, which in later life puts you at risk of falling, breaking a hip, and then usually the cascade goes pretty downhill from there. So whilst you can focus on building up this muscle mass if your percentage is falling too low, and you do that by eating good healthy proteins and doing some load-bearing or weight-bearing exercises. Similarly, if it's too high, rarely the case, just be careful of joint health, heart health. Steroids are not the way to go. They have cardiovascular costs to them. So if it's too high, similarly on percentage skeletal muscle, look to bring it down into the optimal. It's always dynamic. It's always changing. Just if you arrive in the green on all these six on one occasion, it doesn't mean you live happily ever after. It's a lifelong attention, always going up and down. Learning to ride those highs and lows is really the aim of the game.